Hi, it's me, Daryl. I needed to take a moment to just touch base and come with very significant intention here. I have been threatening an update about my brain activity, right, for the last 2 years. Quick update, right? Catch anyone who's unaware up and bring them up to speed. 2 years ago, I had an episode that seemed like a stroke, and with those stroke-like symptoms, I ran to a hospital in a way that probably wasn't super safe. I drove myself across state lines, 27 miles to a hospital, and at that hospital, they told me that there was something. There was something there. They didn't know what it was, but there was something there. To which I responded, "Hey, I have class and I have work and I have shit to do. I have a kid and I need to go. Either tell me what it is or I have to go, because that's what my life is like. It's kind of try to take care of myself between moments of showing up, and it works. It is fine. It is in existence. I have high satiety in my life, and it's just the muscle that you have to work on. But yeah, they managed to convince me to stay. I found out that this thing called a colloid cyst, and what it is just like a flap of flesh forms in your brain, in utero, and what happens is that sac can become perforated and sort of fill up with cerebral spinal fluid. The outcome of that is that sac blocks the flow of cerebral spinal fluid, which is your brain juice. It's the clear shit that they do when they do a spinal tap, and that washes your nervous system. It helps with signal flow throughout your central nervous system and in your brain. And mine has been blocked for what seems like my entire youth and up into mid-adulthood now. And so I'd already kind of had a lot of issues in school, a lot of issues with focus and attention deficit disorder, a lot of problems with emotional regulation, well into my fully developed 25-year-old brain. And it took a lot to just figure out the manual and how to just fucking be and be satisfied and not be seeking constant elation, find comfort in being bored, find comfort in being still, and then also make up for it with tremendous amounts of activity. I figured it out, right? There's a way that you can go to work, go to school, be a dad, have a band. You can figure all of that out if you have the drive to do it. And and if you don't have the drive, just reduce it by a little bit and figure it out for yourself. But I would encourage anybody at any state with any amount of brain capacity to just really give yourself a shot. Regardless of that, they had to take it out because once the sac fills up and begins to block the flow of cerebral spinal fluid, you die. You die. And for people who have known me for a long time, you know that this is not the first serious "you're gonna die" thing to happen to me. It just came at a really bad time, a time when it's difficult to prescribe a meaning to it, which helps me a lot to be able to give it meaning through my actions, to be able to come out of something on the other side and provide, and at least have have the knowledge that if I can, then I can tell you can, and I can tell it from a place of knowledge and not just I almost fucking died, right? I was dying, and I was put in a situation where I was told that it's hey man, it doesn't matter if you sit still, it doesn't matter if you lay here, if this thing is gonna flip and knock you out, it's just gonna happen. The fact that it is presenting a problem at all suggests that it's at a terminal point. So they had to cut my head open and remove the sac. And once they cut your head open, it is automatically considered a traumatic brain injury, a TBI. And I was skeptical. But I learned, like over the course of the first year, that it for sure was a traumatic brain injury. I learned in like the ways that people looked at me the first time I was like engaging in conversations with people, that something was different that I wasn't able to perceive. And I kind of took that knowledge for granted because every couple of weeks I'd like wake up and perceive myself and perceive like what my previous actions had been and be able to like kind of identify like, holy shit, like you weren't acting right here. And it just kept happening every couple of weeks and eventually every couple of months. And then it like was further and further and further apart. And the last time I had one of those episodes was pretty large. And it was this past November in 2023. And it like breaks my heart. It's been hard. It's hard to have a big realization that something about like a core belief or something that you hold true, you haven't been able to adhere to because you just cannot, it's not being allowed into the core of your psyche because things have been disrupted. And like a lot of language was lost in terms of being able to access definitions for things, being slow on the uptick. And to just suddenly wake up one day and like have it back and know that and realize that anyone that you've met in like the last however long hasn't known this about you, hasn't seen you in the way that you've trained yourself to be. And now with like this superpower of like your brain working for quite possibly the first real time in your entire existence. It's hard and it's hurtful. And to not know that that's a thing that's happening to you, that you're presenting in a way that is not accurate. It's hurtful. So I got it taken out. I had to have a ton of therapy. I had to have cognitive therapy. Kind of got re-diagnosed with attention deficit disorder. Had some pretty extensive testing, learned a lot of shit about how my brain works and how I form memories, and a lot more about why I've been the way I've been, and try to figure out how I'm going to be and what decisions I can make to get to the best possible place. I am certainly a little bit more introverted than I was before. I feel weird about this. I feel weird about my time, not in the sense that I almost died, because it certainly wasn't the first time, but I feel weird about my social interactions. I feel like a stronger sense of disappointment, especially like waking up to what seemed like was going to be World War III. Like there's just a lot that happened inside the last 2 years that was like emotionally heavy. And a lot of processing, and I have not wanted, it took me a long time before I even wanted to show my face on Instagram or online in general. I don't know. Anyway, that is a quick update. I did want to say thank you, a tremendous thank you to everyone who donated to the GoFundMe. That was tremendous. And it wasn't a thing that simply just like helped me. Like I didn't understand how much of a deficit I was going to be encountering and how much it was going to hinder me. And that money helped my daughter. It helped me. It helped my family. It helped with my fucking medical bills. It helped with just trying to get me back into like a regularity of some sort and kind of give some confidence to like my ability to move forward. I graduated like on time by the grace of God. I know that my professors showed me a tremendous amount of grace, and they gave me some breaks there. I had some support from friends, and pretty tremendous support from friends, not some support. Yeah, you know, but just like things that happened with like the GoFundMe, it was being funded so rapidly that GoFundMe ended up reaching out and kind of asking like what the fuck is going on, and they donated money as well, and it feels really nice. It felt like excellent to feel supported. I always kind of feel like this is my interaction in life, is like kind of talking at a body who is going to receive it at some point, but then I'm not going to have the opportunity to have that reaction. I think as of late, that's been the thing, and I know that hasn't been classically true. Like that's not net true for my life, right? The you who's watching this and the I who I'm sitting here have had in-depth personal conversations, I would imagine. I imagine that I've grown like a deserved trust, and I know that I don't provide a lot of opportunities for people to engage and show care to me, and the fact that everyone just sort of showed up like at once means so much. What do you say? I'm gracious, I'm grateful, I'm thankful. And I wanted to say that as clunkily as I possibly can. So, I have shit that I'm working on. I will update. I'm sorry that things come out kind of scattered. I'm working on like 90 things at once. And all of them seem to be fucking very cool. And I'm really excited about my life. And I'm glad that I didn't drop dead 2 years ago. And I'm glad that I didn't drop dead 12 years ago. And I'm glad that I didn't drop dead when I was 8. And I'm glad that I didn't drop dead all the other times I was supposed to drop dead. I would like to not near drop dead again. Next time, just take me out of here. Other things is like I am dealing with pretty significant depression. It's being managed. I'm doing the correct things. I am safe. And, it's been it's been pretty hard like this past winter when I got diagnosed with severe depression. And I felt really supported then too by my close group of friends and people who had the patience to kind of be present. Yeah. I'm here, and I'm stoked to show up more once again. And let's make some fucking rad shit, and let's be present with each other. And thank you for everyone who sits through me meme bombing them all day. It's a fucking brain thing, to be quite honest. But I'm thinking of you. If you're getting them from me, I'm thinking of you. So, all right. That's the cartoon.